Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still going to be talking about the Disney movies and whatnot, of course, their merchandising, theme parks, merchandising, whatever the case may be. So let's just get into it, shall we? So, of course, as per usual, I'm going to talk about something Star Wars related when it comes to these movie thons, I guess. So, of course, I'm referring to what plugged in show focusing on by the family, or on the family, whatever, I don't care. Bunch of softies is what I call them. So, okay, they're talking about Star Wars, and again, here is that talking about the righteousness, and like again, trying to put the idea that should Christians really like these movies? Is there like a Christian theme here? I mean, this is an older video. It was posted what maybe 9 years ago, but it's something I've heard on a multitude of different times. Not just with these people. I mean, they do have several Star Wars related content on their channel, and it's just what one of a few I've already discussed already. So this isn't the first time I've brought this kind of thing up from their channel. I mean, I'm usually talking about their podcast typically, or maybe once in a while, an occasion I'll talk about no text reviews, I guess. But which I think is kind of a lazy way of doing it, but whatever. I've kind of gone to one of the text reviews from their site, but it's honestly I didn't feel like doing because it feels like I just gotta do more reading than I should be, of course. But I mean, not that I mind reading, but I'm just saying. But I just felt like having a video would be a bit more easier, I guess, in the sense that you actually get to see people here. The like who's doing what. You guys just see the point how they look. So you can actually see how they look and whatnot. So you can match the voices to who. So anyway, not that it's going to make that much difference because what they're talking here still doesn't make any sense. And I do find it kind of weird that they're trying to attach religious to Star Wars. Again, they weren't the only people that have done this because I've spoken about this kind of thing a multitude of different times already at this point. I've covered this so many times by this point. It's up to the point. Do I really want to talk about this kind of thing anymore? Ugh. Anyway, so just want to add how their perspective, their point of view into Star Wars. Like they're trying to justify to watch these movies. Why try to justify? Why can't you just say you like it and just leave it at that? Anyway, but with that being said, here we go. I guess whatever.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jake, and welcome to the official Plugged In Vodcast. If you couldn't tell by this epic T-shirt, we're talking
and our
about
epic sweaters.
their epic sweaters.
No,
We're
that's
talking
cool.
about a little indie film called Star Wars.
The Force Awakens,
Which was actually an
we're
indie
actually
film.
not talking about that because no one's seen it.
We're not talking
Right,
about The Force
right.
Awakens because
Sorry, we
you
don't
guys
want any
haven't seen
false
it yet, and I
advertising.
haven't seen it yet, and I didn't get invited to the screen.
You don't want to prejudge a movie before you actually saw this kind of a thing. Didn't stop you before because a lot of you Christians had done that before. So that kind of comes off weird if you ask me, but okay. So, I mean, I know that's kind of besides the point but of the video. They just want to interject. What's the whole righteous thing about Star Wars? What is it about, really?
Screening.
Anyway,
Music
anyway,
What are we talking about, Paul?
we are going to be talking today a little bit about the theology of Star Wars because as some of you might have read a blog of mine from a couple of days ago.
We're losing,
hey,
we're
hey,
losing
hey,
him.
hey,
Stay,
whoa.
stay on
I
target.
promise this is way
We'll
more
Stay
fun
on target.
than theology sounds like.
Yeah, no,
Ha 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 ha! Why are we laughing? Ha ha! No, see, what was the joke here? What? That came out of the hell of nowhere. Okay. Anyway.
no,
Loosen up!
I love theology. Hit me.
we are a Christian ministry.
Your
we got to
blog.
talk about
I love
theology.
theology.
All right.
Blog. Norman Geisler. I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah, you totally spoiled the whole thing. So anyway, I wrote this blog about how Star Wars was actually transformative in my plugged-in career, and how it started when I went to a church presentation.
Well, already knew that they were going to throw religion to this. And nothing. Oh my God, you guys are so boring. It's like you're in your 40s, right? Or at least late 30s, at least. But I'll say maybe about 40s, I guess, ish. Point being, it's like that's all you talk about. Church. That's all you're talking about. Literally, that's it. That's boring. You're boring me. Stop boring me.
Dr. Norman Geisler, who
Church is
talked
good.
to all about how
Yes.
bad Star Wars was, and how filled it was with weird Eastern spiritualism.
This franchise is filled with a variety of different aliens, Jedi's, Matrix, and all that. That's like what you just said is like the least real thing in here. What are you talking about?
Not to mention the bikinis.
He didn't mention the bikinis, actually.
Whoa.
I think he was.
That was a
no.
huge miss on his part.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
once your theology gets off, it's not that hard to put on a strange Eastern
Yeah.
bikini.
Okay. All right.
So
Continue.
anyway, as I grew to be a little bit more discerning, you can definitely see those elements. But I am not the theology expert here. Adam,
I'll be frank if I may. Well, I'm gonna do it anyway. You don't come off that smart, if I'm be honest with you, like at all. Not really. So can you just get to the point? I mean, you already did, but okay, what's the reason you would say all this? Seriously, why?
That's me.
Yeah.
So let me dive in. Well, I think before I go sort of negative theology,
Sure.
let's just acknowledge that Star Wars, I think at its core narrative essence, is a story. No,
yeah.
this is mine. It's a battle between good and evil. And so I think
Okay, well, technically, yes. If you really want to oversimplify everything, yes, it's about good versus bad. Yeah, ultimately, that's its core. Yeah, but there's a bit more nuance and there's a bit more than just that. That's what it is, but still, though.
it's easy to resonate with this idea that there are evil forces and there are good forces. Thank you.
I'm wearing the
I
right.
am wearing
I'm
the
wearing
dark
the right.
sweater. Yeah, you're right. And so on that, note, there are some parallels with Christian theology where
I can tell. Like I just said a moment ago, folks. I've been down this road way too many times than I care to admit. There was no Christian inspiration whatsoever. It's not here at all. It never was and never going to be. I mean, the force in itself is really vague, sure, but still. Granted, yes, there's room for interpretation that you can try to justify what you're saying here, but in the Star Wars franchise, there was never really any notion to worship Jesus and all that. I know they're trying to use this as a way to just talk about their religion because their religion is supposedly, well, the version of the religion anyway, as if it was the true only thing to believe in. Which, I mean, even if you can interpret this, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's what this is about.
there's a recognition of good and evil. But, Christian theology posits a personal God who sent his son to live and to die for us, and that we can have a personal relationship with God. And the sort of theological universe of Star Wars is much more Eastern in that it's an impersonal universe. It has very pantheist elements, which is this idea that God is an impersonal force and he's sort of...
Again, no. You could interpret it as that, maybe, but the Force itself is not inspired by Jesus. The Jedi never spoke about Jesus whatsoever.
in everything. And if you remember in the prequels, there's this prophecy about Anakin bringing balance to the Force.
Right.
Balance gets this at this idea of yin and yang, and that evil and good are in the appropriate relationship with each other, which is actually a Gnostic idea known as dualism.
Okay, that's just confusing. It is about your belief system, or it is not. You can't be just both at the same time. So, which is it of these two? I don't get it. So, what exactly are you saying here? I mean, I'm disagreeing, and I will disagree regardless of what you would say. But if you have to point some out, make sure what you're saying does make sense within what you're trying to say here. So, again, I don't get it at all. It just seems really, really confusing as to what you're trying to say here exactly.
Right.
And-
Right. And it predates Gnosticism, right?
Yeah, it does.
It's
It does.
It's very
Very old.
Zoroastrianism. Very good.
I practiced that.
Yeah, so and it has a lot of that dualism, right?
Yeah, it does. And at times in the Christian life it can feel like, good and evil are somehow equally weighted, but God wins. The Christian story is not a dualistic theology.
This is just mad ignorant. Mad arrogant as well. Just because, for the most part, people want the good guys to win at the end of every story. People want to see the heroes triumph over evil. Therefore, that's why your religion, again, your version of religion anyway, is superior than any other belief system. So, again, where's the evidence to back this up? You still haven't given me anything right here. So how is any of this mean what you're saying? This is so stupid.
We know what the ending of the story is, and we're just in the process of it being worked out. And so, in that respect, Star Wars is really pretty off theologically.
Let me actually,
even though it has great spaceships.
It has great spaceships, and that makes up for a lot, actually.
Well,
but
yeah,
I wanted to because one of the things that I sort of noticed as the original movies 4, 5, and 6 sort of went through. By the time you hit number 6, the one with all the Ewoks, it felt a lot more Christian to me.
What are you talking about? If anything, Star Wars was heavily inspired by the hero's journey. That's what this is about. So, somebody from small beginnings becomes something much bigger than they originally intended. Like Luke Skywalker himself, he viewed himself as a farm boy, and he didn't like that really. He wanted himself to be more than that. I mean, eventually, he got that. He became more than what he was, but along the way, it was scary, it was terrifying. He didn't know what to make of it. I mean, I'm really overly simplify that too when you think about it. But point being, it's not a Christian thing whatsoever at all.
And the way I sort of see this is sort of that clash between, not really clash, but sort of, between Luke and Darth Vader.
Melee?
Yeah. No. Because in a way, what you've got here, you've got Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, the Dark, right?
How is any of that so-called proof to back up your claim? I know he's trying to pass it up as if that's his evidence right there, which he's doing miserably. Because again, what you're saying here is vague, is incredibly vague. So how is the fact that Luke Skywalker and Vader, the fact that they don't like each other, and then of course Leia, Prince Leia is his sister, and somehow all this proof? What? Are we just going to ignore the whole incest kiss from that one Star Wars movie? So, okay, we're just not going to listen to that. Okay, let's act as if that never happened. Okay. I'm going over here.
He, in some ways, feels like Adam. He sinned, he fell.
You've got to be joking me. You're joking me, right? You're comparing the origin story of Darth Vader, aka Anakin Skywalker, to the whole Adam and Eve thing because Adam sinned. Are you kidding me? Seriously?
Well, he's the original bad guy.
Oh my God, this is so painful to watch. Vader was not the first bad guy in the Star Wars expanded universe.
Luke comes into the picture. He sort of becomes the second Adam, so to speak.
He's the Christ figure.
Exactly.
Wait, what? So Luke Skywalker is the second Adam in your story? What? If you go that far, why can't you just compare it to one of Adam's sons? Because technically, would that make more sense in your metaphor? Because, okay, Vader is the Adam in your version of events, so wouldn't Luke Skywalker be one of the sons instead? I mean, you're trying to compare this entire thing to Christ anyway, so yeah. Okay, I know, that's kind of besides the point, because what these people are trying to say is that disobeying God is evil, and that's a lie.
And he tries to, and he does, redeem in some ways.
Holy hell, do I have to stop you in every sentence here? I mean, if Vader did one good thing in his entire life, that does not erase the worst things he ever done. He blew a planet. Well, at least, I'll get to be more technical, he allowed the planet to be... He didn't directly do it, but he allowed it to be to blow it up because he knew what was going to happen. Him doing one good thing does not erase that. So, yeah.
Anakin, his dad,
Mm-hmm.
and Darth Vader, and sort of. So it felt like it had a little bit of Christian weight to it. That's
We're not getting a whole lot of detail out of this whatsoever. You act as if the pinpoints, especially in the third movie in the original series of films, is somehow strong evidence to back up their claims. But again, all they're doing is trying to hammer in their belief system because the only way you can live a triumphant life is through Christianity, which is a lie because that's not how that works. Not for everyone, anyway.
Eastern sources, and we can draw those things out of it. And I think the great thing for parents, and I think the good thing about Star Wars is, I think all the worldview stuff is not so offensive and evangelistic as to make it no-fly territory.
Right,
You know,
right.
like when I saw Avatar, I was so annoyed
Yeah.
by how aggressive.
Right.
Okay, I don't see what Avatar has to do with anything, but yeah, he feels that the movie's too aggressive. It's a message. I don't know what that means exactly. And yet, yes, that film does paint a picture of its own version of what good is and what bad is, of course. I mean, it's a pretty generic movie, maybe, sure, but still, though. The movie is okay. It's a very mediocre movie, but that's kind of besides the point because these people are so hypocritical. How can you say Avatar is being aggressive with its message when you're doing that? All you three are being aggressive with your own message. What?
Ben Kenobi and Yoda sort of come back as these ghost-like figures. There's a hint of an afterlife, so it's not a consistent worldview.
Well, and,
it's
and
a hodgepodge.
correct me if I'm wrong, but Lucas himself admits to the fact that like his own worldview is this like hodgepodge, mishmash of.
No.
Okay, I'm confused. Okay, like I wasn't already. Are we talking about James Cameron or are we talking about George Lucas? I mean, okay, it kind of doesn't matter because both directors can have their own view on the world if they want to. They don't have to subscribe to what you believe in. But of course, you're acting as if that the only way to be good is to be a Christian. That sounds like a damn dictatorship, if you ask me.
Like
Which makes
everything
it-
in the
yeah.
universe, so it's like
Yeah.
it makes sense that that's all in there. And I like what you're saying about echoes because I think the important thing, like as parents and as people that watch these movies, is to realize not just that there are echoes there, but to realize that the echoes of our faith, the echoes of Christianity that we see there, are opportunities for us.
Okay, well, I do have my issues with Avatar, and maybe I do have some issues with Star Wars as a whole to some extent. It has nothing to do with Christianity, okay? To point out, it's more in lines of writing, if anything. So, but they're complaining about the fact that Avatar is not Christian enough, really.
Have conversation with others. I always think about Paul, not this Paul, the Apostle
You think
Paul.
about me all the time, though.
I still don't know how any of this relates to Star Wars exactly. How, and even Avatar as well.
I mean,
Sometimes I call him the apostle.
The Apostle Paul, when he's
I don't.
In Rome, if I'm not mistaken, and
Let's keep talking
he
and
had
we'll
been.
let you know.
Yeah, you guys let me know when I'm going way off scripture here because I don't have the
Okay, but again, what's the connection here exactly? Where?
reference. But when he's in Rome and he's kind of looking around at all their gods, and then he's actually like talking to him, and he says, "Look at this statue. It's Athens. You're right. Ah,
Mars Hill.
geez,
Yeah, it was
guys,
close. It was in
Just
the
keep talking.
Mediterranean.
It's
Go ahead.
good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Your point is
Again, what's the connection to Star Wars? Where? Seriously, where?
So he's in
valid.
Athens and he's looking at all these gods and he's like, look at this statue to the unknown god. He's like, this is actually a real god. You don't.
Yeah.
You know it's real. You know this god is real, but you don't know where to find him. I know where to find him.
Yeah.
I know the whole truth about this god, and let me tell you about him.
Yeah.
And I think Star Wars, because
You realize in the Bible it states something in the lines of "Don't worship false gods." Well, that is a thing. The vast majority of Christianity, but I still don't get what does this have to do with Avatar or Star Wars? What's the connection here exactly? I still do not know. It's rambling about nothing. Absolutely nothing. At all.
Because of this whole mishmash, we can say,
Yeah.
here, yeah, look at this piece of this, look at this piece of that. Oh, what's this?
Yeah.
An Adam figure, a Christ figure. These are echoes. These are seen in a mirror darkly of a deeper truth.
Yeah.
No, your version of the truth, but not the actual truth. What you think is the truth versus the reality of the actual truth are two separate things. You just want it to be about Christianity and nothing else. You realize not every movie in existence has to be about Jesus and all that. There's plenty of religious movies out there already. So just stick with that then.
Yeah.
Of Christianity, of
And
Jesus
fall and
Christ, and the
redemption.
fall
Yeah.
of mankind, and our brokenness, and the redemption of mankind. And then it's all of a sudden you're talking Jesus. You just Jesus juked your way through
Did
Star
you just say
Wars.
Jesus
Jesus
juke?
juke.
You did, didn't you?
I,
That was the strangest compound verb I've ever heard.
Yeah. Well.
You heard it here, folks.
Jesus juke.
Jesus juking your way through Star Wars.
Okay.
Okay, for the rest of this, they just rattle about nothing really. And, don't worship false gods and whatnot. Again, what does this have to do with Star Wars and whatnot? And then the movie Avatar. Okay, movies, because they made, 2 Avatar movies for now? Because for now, there's apparently going to be 4 movies of Avatar and whatnot. And they're still planning to make more Star Wars films. When I say they, I mean the people who make the Disney movies. But anyway, they just went on and on how you spread the gospel of Jesus and all that. And this ultimately didn't go anywhere. Okay, let me just wrap it up here because this entire thing was just nonsensical considering the fact that what they believe in did not have to be inserted into the Avatar, Star Wars, or whatever else. I guess. Again, I don't think the Avatar movies are particularly good, and the Star Wars film is going to be wishy-washy. I guess. So some are kind of bad, and some are good, and there may be a few others that may be like kind of okay. Almost okay at least, but it's a mixed bag. Just like with Star Trek. Star Trek has the same thing. Star Trek has some bad movies. They have good movies. They have bad shows. They have good shows. They have bad comics and they have good comics. Same thing with Star Wars. So again, I guess the quality, it just depends on the writer really. I mean, yes, I want all these stories to have good quality, of course. I really want them to, but realistically speaking, it's about to happen sooner or later, I guess. Anyway, the quality of the story does not depend on believing in God. Believing in God is not the only way to make a good movie. But according to these people, the only way to make a good family friendly, or just a good movie in general, it has to be Christian related, which I highly have to disagree with. So at the end of the day, this is just ridiculous to assume that the only good way Star Wars, I guess Avatar 2, I guess, I don't know, can be only good and entertaining if it's related to their belief system. And this is kind of moronic because there's hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of denominations of Christianity. So someone's about to be offended anyway. But anyway, that'll be it for now, folks. Thanks for watching. See you.